This is my heart and soul. This is what I'm here to do.
Carrie Deere teaches her special education students in 15-minute increments.
Why don't we turn and do our target for today? My children don't have the ability yet or haven't learned the ability yet to control their anger. So if a child has 3 behaviors, you try to target the first, the most crucial that's impacting their ability to learn, and then you slowly work down from there. Smiled.
This young teacher came up with an out-of-the-box idea to help kids manage their stress so they can learn and focus in small doses.
You can see the spelling pattern, fill in the chart. So that really breaks up and helps them to be able to function in centers like this.
After they learn, they get a sensory break.
I'll make a ball.
Cool. So that sensory is then out of the way, and then they can come to me next center and focus and feel calm and settled. They all have their challenges. The behaviors will always be there. Right now they're just suppressed. So you'll still see the behaviors at times. You just need to learn to manage them and really help them de-escalate.
She helps me with my work and get me smart. She tells me to hold her hands or go to the break space or the box. It makes me calm down.
There's not a ton of research to prove that it works. But my classroom, it's just something that I've seen with my students that they really need, and it seems to work. It's rewarding to see the impact I have every single day. There was one day I was gone, and they all came up running the next day, just how much they miss me, and they can't be out of routine, so knowing that I'm needed makes it that much more enjoyable to come and to be here, because this is what I wanted to do.
I like the small group setting. I like working with the kids more and, not as big of a classroom. Rosalind, would you like to go first? Yes? Okay.
Speech class is a favorite place for School 43 third graders Joseph and Rosalind.
I like the relationship you develop with them. When I go and get my kids, they're always like, yay, it's speech time.
It has a lot to do with first-year speech pathologist Brittany Phillip.
What did she do that was so courageous or brave?
She spends her day creatively trying to help kids produce language.
That can't produce the S, can't produce the R sound. So I work a lot on their mouth awareness. What color?
White.
Cream, right?
Following directions, understanding differences, comprehension, and reading are all tools she uses to help her kids develop skills for the classroom.
Okay. I feel like reading is such a huge piece, especially in the city schools. That's when they need a lot of support, is the reading piece. So I like to incorporate that in as best as I can in my speech sessions. Could we come up with one more similarity? You have to really care and have your heart in it completely to do this. I also think patience. You have to have a lot of patience with the kids. You have to think about their backgrounds, where they come from, and sometimes it's not always easy. So coming here, it might be even hard for them. So I always think about that when I'm doing therapy with them.
If Brittany Phillip seems like a natural, it's because she is.
All the teachers know I'm here until like 4 or 5 o'clock at school every night. I think it's really important, especially for me. I like to know what's new, all the new strategies, all new therapy ideas. I like to keep it fresh. All right, good job today, guys. You don't think I'm as cool as I think I am, but even being so young, so I try to find out what they're doing and, incorporate that into my therapy too.
Penda, this is not your class. Hi, how are you? You just wanted to be on videotape, didn't you? Say hi to the camera.
The tone is set early in Miss M's 9th grade algebra class.
A lot of kids have stuff going on at home, so they kind of bring it in, so every day's a new day. Welcome to math. Let's get in here and learn.
Sheila Mamuspahich has found her own formula for teaching.
I kind of use humor a lot in the classroom, and I joke around with them. I'm very sarcastic. It helps them concentrate and trust me a little bit more. All right, Sanjay, you look beautiful. Put your brush away. When I want to get serious, they'll know it, and they'll, sit down and do work. You know how to do this. We did this all last week. I can't be too serious. I always tell the kids, whatever comes out of my mouth, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because usually I'm messing with you. And once I get to know them, I can really, it's almost like we're friends, but I'm the teacher, you're the student. Ask me for help when you need it, but let's have it. It just needs to be easy. I don't want them to hate coming to my room. I want them to enjoy it. One of our zeros is 3, they told us.
She break it down.
The other one?
Like, it's easier for us to understand. Like, certain teachers don't really break it down, but if we don't understand, she'll break it down to a level where we understand.
Mamuspahich taught at a charter school for 5 years. She chose the city instead. She stays late and spends Saturdays helping her kids.
There's our 42-minute classes. They can't get everything they need. A lot of them need that extra time to like process things. And 42 minutes goes really quickly in the classroom.
When we don't understand something, we just put rabbit on. It makes us understand.
She danced to it all the time.
A cue for Miss M to make math magic again.
All of them hate math. There's very few kids that come into my room. I love math. I love being here. They can't stand it from the get-go. So just to have them walk in and not try to skip my class or come in and sigh, I'm here again. Like just to come in and like have fun while we're there, even though they may struggle, they're still having a little bit of fun. That's what I like to see.
All right, listen up. If you're at a 1, here's where you're going next.
I worked in sales for 7 years. Then I worked in human resources. I worked for Saturn for 10 years doing human resources, and I started working in the service department for them.
It was her children that made Leah Sacatella realize what she was meant to do.
Kind of raising them and being with them helps me realize what was important in the world. And I decided that my job as a human resources manager wasn't meaningful enough and that I wanted to be with kids and spend my days with kids.
Leah went back to school to find her true calling.
I love knowing my students. You know, having 12 in a classroom means that you get to know them and really know the good, the bad, what they need. And I really feel like I can reach each one of my students because I have the opportunity to get to know them so well.
Organizing, negotiating,
Keep going, Jeremiah. Read one more sentence.
problem solving, multitasking, and communication.
Let's read that whole sentence together, everybody.
Providing human resources a different way.
I feel needed and I feel appreciated. Everything that we do for these students, they're so appreciative, they're so grateful. And it could be the smallest, seemingly meaningless thing to you, but it could mean the world to a child. Give me a high five, kiddo. When a kid sorts out the difference finally between B and D, and there's that aha moment. Or it could be, you know, a child finishes their first book that they've read on their own, academic accomplishments, and then there are the behavioral and social accomplishments, which for our students can sometimes be more important than the academics. Well, what's our nation's capital? Here it is right here. What is it, Joseph? This is where I was meant to be. This is meaningful, and this is life-changing. That's what I want, life-changing for me and life-changing for my students.
The tone is set when you walk into Andrea Seeloff's 4th grade class.
I play music every day when the students come in. In the morning, the lights are dim, so I don't have the overhead lights on. And I put the calming music on just as some background noise to help them feel calm in a safe place.
A necessary start for today's lesson in place value.
1, 2, just for them to be like self-aware of, oh, I am being too noisy and I can't hear the music either. To the right of the decimal point, we have the
10.
They leave here feeling like I did something that helped them to improve. And it's more of the hands-on aspect. They need your help throughout every single step of their day. Put your 2 thumbs in there. I think I learned how to manage that just by getting to know the students. So if I didn't know those students, I would think that they were just not working because they didn't want to work. But that's not the case. They just needed an extra minute to wrap up in that blanket, to feel safe and to feel comfortable before they could even get started.
It may seem to an outsider that social, emotional, and behavioral issues could limit learning here.
I have to practice my patience every day.
But never in Andrea Seeloff's class.
See how I'm doing? Okay, you hold it. They can get lost in the shuffle. These students need every opportunity that a gen ed student has, a student who isn't labeled that has a special need. They're just as important. They need to go out and get a job. They need to learn how to drive. They need to do things that every other child needs to do, and that's really important to me.
Good job, go ahead. We change things up a lot in our room.
Rachel Strickland never stops coming up with new ways to engage her first and second graders.
Just having that, a person who cares about them and they know that you care and they see that and that you notice all the good things they do and all the positive. Doug.
Strickland turns work into play as a way to reach her young students.
They were learning their letters and their sounds. Can't quite remember where I first heard about using shaving cream. I'm sure it was someone's blog. So I just worked that into the lesson. And it's a motivator to get through all the jobs we have to do for that lesson, because there's a reward at the end. Zakai, which word starts with mm? Is it mom or dad? At first we had to try it and then take it away because we were very, very messy. and then we were able to bring it back.
Persistence and consistency has paid off.
If I can remember who wrote which word in the shaving cream, generally I can see it stick a little bit. What did you write? What do you hear? They started not knowing any letter sounds, and now we're able to push to start to put those words together. So it's just amazing to see that growth. It can get you through the rough days when you think, oh, so many behaviors today. But you know that they have come so far, and you do see that growth. They make you laugh. I mean, the student in our group today, they weren't really focused, and I told her, we need to buckle down, and she told me, I don't have a seatbelt. They do make you smile.
Did you finish that other algebra stuff that you had to do?
Nicole Zatko has no fear.
So we can either get Y by itself.
You wouldn't know this was her first year running a classroom.
She made me love math, which was first started it. I wanted to be a math teacher.
She's a long way from 5th grade, where she was first inspired.
Okay. Be careful. What was it over here?
I think you have to go beyond being just a teacher, because someone brings stuff in from outside or from home that they need to talk about, or sometimes you're a counselor, or sometimes you have to be many different people.
I get intimidated easily, I like bigger teachers, but she's just like a regular person, like a friend basically.
Visibility and availability before, during, and after school. Keys to her teaching strategy.
I try to participate in things after school, tutoring, go to sporting events, and during the school day I always try to be there for students, teachers, anything.
All right, so what we need to do is we want to solve for X.
They get really excited when they see the support. They enjoy having support, especially if it's like someone they have a bond with. They like that you're there for them.
Do you notice that these two equations, are they the same?
She really helped me to bounce into actually passing the test this year. I want to learn because she's just there, making it easy for me.
If you have a bond with them, or if you're able to help them or make a connection with them, I think that's huge. If they have a connection with you, they tend to be more motivated and want to learn from you.
For our morning meeting reading this morning.
Sylvia Choi couldn't wait to start her career as a teacher.
I met many great teachers in my education. And for me, I was like, some of these kids just need that one teacher that they'll remember. If they learn like that one thing, just the one thing they remember, and I'm like, that's good enough for me. Find a elbow-to-elbow partner. I wanted to really take what I learned in college and just get to apply it. I wanted to say, hey, I've done it, I know what works, before I go back to school and say, this is what I need to learn. Use the alphabet as a guide.
She's already learned she enjoys special education. She uses a morning meeting to start the learning process.
To say to them, hey, that one person you never speak to, right now is your chance to say good morning to them and make them feel special. And I really believe that it has helped a lot with the behavior. All the things that they would have talked about throughout the day, all the things that they would have thought about, they just shared and discussed. And they have built such a close bond with each other through that. Let's begin with a new brain builder.
Guided conversation helps kids listen, plan, and communicate.
I will hear them say, can you please speak appropriately? Can you let him talk first? Can you make eye contact with him? Little things they count on to, all from morning meetings.
Joy may be no nonsense.
Are you joining the circle or are you going back to your seat? There's no real world application where you get 15 chances. For me, it's very straightforward. You're doing it or you're not. There's really not much other choices. There's not the busy work. There's not the sit around until you're ready. Just go for it. And they understand that it's tough love. You know, it really is. If I didn't care, I would just say, hey, do whatever you feel like.
Her passion is undeniable.
There's nothing else you can do that could be as satisfying and rewarding as this. As hard as it is every day, at the end of the day, I'm like, that was great. It was a great day. Every day is a great day.
Next one, read this for me. Go ahead. Irrigation system.
First-year teacher Caitlin Adams is a multitasker.
I support 6th grade social studies, English, science, and math, and then 7th grade social studies, science, and English.
Different subjects, different abilities.
I used to teach to my dolls when I was little. I was always really good with kids, and I don't know, when I was looking to go to school, there was nothing else I considered. I just knew I wanted to be a teacher. And then you think about it. We're not going to answer, but you're going to think about it.
She started teaching in the Hilton School District, but chose the city instead.
I didn't really know that I wanted to be in the city, and then I got a taste of it, and the kids are wonderful. You're on the way. You're almost there. Keep going. I come in here every day, and it's good morning. I get a million hugs a day. They just really care about you.
Adam uses her off-hours activities as a way to bond with her kids. She plays ice hockey, an icebreaker to learning.
I think the relationship piece is really huge. So once you have that relationship with those kids, you're able to connect with them and their interests, and then kind of base your lessons based on their interests, and then you have that buy-in, and then you just continue to build that relationship every single day. Thank you.
Adams has learned early that her workday is not always done, and that's okay.
It's not a 7 to 3 job. You're working with the kids so much during the day that getting any planning, anything done, that's after school. And then you go to their games or you see them on the weekend. A lot of these kids come low-income families, and so that also comes home with you too. We don't want whatever happened before they came in those doors to carry throughout the day. We want him to have a good day and leave in a good term.
I had a son that was diagnosed with a learning disability, and so I wanted to be able to help him, and I couldn't do that just like being a mother. I needed to do a little bit more. I wanted to advocate more for my son. So what do you think the lesson was?
After 9 years as a paraprofessional in the city school district, Adra Anderson, a mother of 4, went back to school to become a special education teacher.
Like that chapter? Yeah? Everything that I was learning, I was able to come home and teach my son. And I'm proud to say now he is doing absolutely fabulous in school. He's a straight A student. So is it ever okay to go into a business? I just wanted to be able to do that for one of these kids. This is my first year teaching, and I feel like I'm reaching them. They can relate to me, I relate to them. We have such a great connection. Because I live in the city, I'm homegrown. I feel like this is just my calling. Like I can relate to them, they can relate to me because we live in the same area. We have the same experiences. So maybe they should have asked the store owner instead. They get that stigma of special ed, and then they kind of get tossed to the side, and I didn't want that for my students. I give them every possibility to be, they are involved in everything in the school.
This seasoned first-year teacher held a book fair for the school. Her kids organized it all.
Miss Anderson likes us like we're her own children.
A dream deferred, a dream realized every day at School 44.
You can always follow your dreams, and no matter how old you are in life, don't get distracted. Even if you get sidetracked, you can always get back on track and fulfill your dreams, and you can be whatever you want in this life.
You're talking about our field trip to Springdale Farm. We did.
Abby Bakari didn't set out to be an early childhood teacher.
It's a classroom full of 3-year-olds.
But she was drawn to this age group.
It's my passion, it's my love, it's what I've always wanted to do since I started doing it. So let's see, we saw a large horse. Getting them as 3-year-olds, we're setting the routine, the structure for them, we're giving them social skills, so then by the time they go to UPK as 4- and 5-year-olds, they already have those skills. I have a basket full of some things, and I wonder what will stick to your magnet ones. A lot of our kids aren't coming into school with those pre-academics, like their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, or even those social skills that are so needed in kindergarten, like sitting next to someone without hitting them or raising their hand if they want to talk. They don't have those social skills. They're not born with them.
The Rochester Early Childhood Education Center is a new program.
This is a clip. Do you think the clip is magnetic?
A new curriculum, a new age group made for a tough start for this new teacher.
I had a really challenging group of kids last year. It was really hard for me. So to go from that now to this, it's just, I would not have expected it.
We're gonna go right out here.
But a metamorphosis occurred for everyone in this class, including the teacher.
And they learn that as caterpillars eat, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we went through the whole life cycle with them. We watched them wrap themselves in their chrysalis, and then they changed into butterflies. Ready? My kids have definitely blossomed and turned into butterflies this year.
My kids are predominantly African American kids, and I think to have someone that looks like you, it's a reflection of you, someone they might not see oftentimes, I think that's huge.
John Martin Cannon can explain why more African American men don't teach.
That's still a mystery to me as to why.
Making connections to kids drives Cannon in his first full year of teaching at school number 10.
I've come to really enjoy and love 6th grade.
Each morning, Cannon forms a talking circle.
And they know that when we do talk about personal issues, it stays in the classroom. The first round, everyone will share, and you'll say, what makes us a family, okay? I'm just gonna listen. If they're experiencing something, they're gonna bring that to school. So that has to be discussed, or there has to be time allotted for that to be taken care of before you can move on.
We are kind of a family because we argue, we laugh, we giggle, we have fun, That's just us.
But Cannon believes the next generation of teachers needs to make connections outside of school to cut to what's really important.
I've always offered for the boys. I always go to the barbershop, to get my hair cut, and I know these boys do. Really short in the sides and then dark in the top. We're building relationships with people out in the community. The barbershop's always a fun experience.
You want like a heart or anything?
We have to relate to them on a personal level, and if you don't make the connection with the kid, you don't have management in the classroom because they're not going to respect and look up to you as their teacher. It shows them that I care about inside of school and outside of school too, and it also shows that I'm human. I have errands. I have a life outside of school, so it kind of opens up their eyes as like, wow, this is what he does outside of school too.